Week 1 of NFL football right in front of us. We're going to be talking NFL all week. Our big game today, though, one you have to stay for, Nebraska at Colorado. How about the Buffaloes? Upset TCU, incredible performance. 4 wide receivers with over 100 yards. I can't remember the last time that happened. Marco D'Angelo is going to take apart that game. Nebraska plus 3.5 right now. But first, we got to start with the number one handicapper last year this in the NFL, a man who made close to 60 units of profit for his clients. Jimmy Adams joining us, everyone. How are you, Jimmy? Nice to have you with us. Week 1. How exciting is this?
Oh, what's up, guys? I'm so stoked. I already have 3 plays released to the clients. You can get that $2 5% week 1 best bet. I'm going to be releasing a few more, and we'll talk a little Jags Colts as well. So I'm stoked.
Well, let's do that right off the top right here. Jacksonville and Indianapolis. Looking at the WagerTalk live odds screen. It's been a steady diet of Jags money from the opener in this one. We're seeing some 4.5. The prevailing line -5 right now for Jacksonville on the road. Total of 45. Are the Jags a team we trust to win by margin on opening day? Or is Indy looking like a live dog to you?
Yeah, so I think we do trust them. We've seen this Jags line creep up, as you said, and I'm in agreement with the move. So actually, as soon as Anthony Richardson was named the starter, I immediately hammered the Jags because I just don't think things are going to go well for him in the early going. Richardson only started 13 games in college. He didn't even make first team All-SEC. He only completed 54.7% of his passes at Florida. So accuracy, a serious concern. Look, there's no denying his athleticism. You're going to see the highlights on ESPN of the runs and, all that. But not much of that is playing the actual quarterback position. And what I mean by that is, can he make decisions? Can he make decisions, the right decisions, quickly? Big question marks at running back as well, with no Jonathan Taylor, and in the secondary with a defense that ranked 28th in points per game allowed. They were 30th on offense in the same category, so Richardson certainly has a lot on his shoulders. Meanwhile, the Jags won 6 of their last 7 to win the division in 2022. Trevor Lawrence made huge strides in his second season, a quarterback we can trust in week 1, someone with experience and proven success. The talented Calvin Ridley also comes back from his suspension. The Jags are going to be able to score points, and they ranked 7th in turnover margin a season ago. So with an effective offense, some help from Richardson in the turnover department, I expect the Jags to cover by margin in week 1.
So one of the things that we see, Ralph Michaels comes on just about every week and gives us a chart that talks about the broader picture for some of these NFL trends. And when it comes to week 1 of the NFL, the division dogs have been money. I mean, like real money for long term. You're stepping in front of that here. Does that concern you, given the long-term trend towards division dogs, in particular division home dogs in week 1, something that Ralph's come on the show multiple times and pointed out how good bets these are? You're saying, not this time. Explain why you're willing to step in front of this powerful trend.
Yeah, so no one better than Ralph Michaels at the trends, right? And I think this is going to be, can I call it a square dog? Home dogs, divisional, they have success, but this is just one of those spots where I think first-year head coach in Steichen is making a mistake. He's got a good backup in Minshew. You look at the track record of a lot of the most successful quarterbacks in the league, and a lot of them sat. I mean, Patrick Mahomes sat. I just think this is an area. I don't want to get in the habit of laying chalk on the highway, but this is one spot where I don't think Anthony Richardson is ready, and we're going to see it in week 1.
Jimmy Adams joining us, everyone. You can find him at WagerTalk.com, exclusive handicapper to us. And we've got a great show for you all. Jimmy's going to also look at a baseball game, the Toronto Blue Jays, Oakland Athletics. Teddy's got his 6 Bs, which should be super fun to listen to. And I'm sure one of his bad bets will be TCU. I think they were -20.5. Marco D'Angelo coming on. He's going to talk San Fran and Chicago in baseball and take apart the Buffalo-Nebraska game. Not the Buffaloes. Teddy's big game breakdown, our betting strategy question. Carmine Bianco with an NFL teaser and an NFL future bet. And cue the drum roll. The presidential address is back if we get 100 likes. Jimmy, Blue Jays, man. I think this is a bet on team moving forward. I don't know if they're going to be able to squeak into the playoffs, but I think they're going to win more games than they lose. I think if you take them on the money line from here till the end, I think it'll be a profitable program. Today they play the A's. Beres on the mound. How do we bet this game?
Yeah, so Lawrence, I kind of agree with you. I mean, they're right there in the wild card hunt. I would consider this an important series for Toronto, even though they're playing Oakland, because these are just games that they have to win if they're going to, get into that wild card spot. Toronto scored 27 runs in Denver. Now, I realize it's Coors Field, but they did a good job scoring in their previous series as well against Washington. So the bats are alive and well right now in Toronto. Now, I do not trust Jose Barrios. He's given up 5 runs in back-to-back starts. So I'm going to focus on the team total over 4.5. We're going to look to fade Ken Waldichuk, a pitcher whose FIP of 5.52, pretty much right in line with his ERA. And when you look at all the analytics for Waldichuk, they're horrible. I mean, his pitching run value ranks in the 3rd percentile, a WOBA of 374. He had 5 walks in his last start, a hard hit percentage of 42.3%. The list goes on. I won't continue. But Waldichuk also faced the Blue Jays earlier this season. He was shelled for 6 earned. He didn't even make it out of the 3rd inning in that one. If that's not enough, the A's rank dead last in collective ERA from their bullpen. So Blue Jays up and over the team total as they try to gain ground in the wild card standings.
Jimmy Adams like Toronto to score runs in bunches this evening. Jimmy, best of luck with that wager. What do you have to promote over at WagerTalk.com right now?
Lots going on right now, Teddy. We got that $2 5% best bet that I mentioned up top, defending that number 1 regular season NFL title. Baseball's running hot. 3 straight winners, 8-3 last 11. Got a 4% best bet up for just $9 right now. WagerTalk.com. Thanks for having me, everyone. Best of luck.
Jimmy Adams, outstanding stuff. Teddy, this is one of the best segments all week, brother. I get to kick back, put my legs on the table, check out TikTok while you go on and on and on ad nauseum about 6 different Bs. Go.
Let's do it. Some bad beats, some bad bets, some bad for the books, and a busy weekend for college football bettors. Let's start with the bad beats. These are the ones that stuck out to me. How about Kentucky trying to run out the clock? That was actually the ESPN headline. Kentucky covers spread on TD with 6 seconds remaining. That's the world we live in now. And, of course, it wasn't punching in a touchdown with 6 seconds remaining. It was a 30-yard scamper. That was brutal if you were betting the other side against the Wildcats. West Virginia backers were not amused. Under backers were not amused. Oh, my goodness. Penn State under, and Penn State gets there. The onside kick fails. Penalties get the Nittany Lions to the goal line. Then Franklin doesn't take a knee. It's probably the worst beat of the weekend because that game was flat out over or under. And Franklin, for some reason, ran one more play. And again, it was 24-7 with under 8 minutes to play. You still have 3 scores, 18 points to play with. Touchdown, 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 and a 2-point conversion. Tough beat for the Mountaineers. Tough beat for under backers. USF plus 13.5 against Western Kentucky. That game's tied at halftime. It's a 1-score game heading in the 4th. The Hilltoppers score a field goal to go up 10. Time for one last USF drive, which ends up being a fumble return for a touchdown for Western Kentucky. Covering 58 minutes, 59 minutes, that's not enough. South Florida backers take a rough beat. And the very worst beats in sports come on unders, in any sport. Texas Tech, Wyoming. That was a dead nuts under the entire game. Total open high is 56.5, closed 50.5, all under money. Texas Tech kept on blowing chances. Chance went with a touchdown, settled for another field goal. And next thing you know, it's 2020 going into overtime where unders go to die. Yeah, 4 touchdowns in OT, 35-33 double OT final. Tough beat for under bettors there. And then yesterday, Oregon State, San Jose State, another dead nuts under the whole way. Total 56.5 at 7-3, more than halfway through the second quarter. It's 28-3 in the fourth. And then what happens? Touchdown, 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 touchdown. The last touchdown coming with 4 seconds left after a fourth down conversion. 42-17 final goes over the total. Never in doubt, right? Bad bets. Lots of closing line value. Trophies galore. Ohio State minus 27 up to 30 at Indiana. You can't cover minus 30 if you don't score 30. 23-3 final Ohio State. A bad bet. Wisconsin open minus 23. They got to bet up to Heinz minus 29 against Buffalo. Total was bet down from 55 to 52. Bulls and over cash. Wisconsin under. Didn't get there. UMass plus 40 to plus 35 at Auburn. Well, they lost by 45. That was a bad bet. North Texas plus 10 to plus 5 at Cal. They lost by 37. Money poured into the under as well. Yeah, both of those were very wrong. Baylor money against Texas State. They got bet up to minus 28. They ended up losing by double digits at home. That was a bad bet. Colorado State money poured in. Plus 16 to plus 8.5 against Wazoo. They lost by 4 touchdowns. Army up to minus 8.5 against ULM. They lost outright. Texas San Antonio plus 2 to minus 3 against Houston. Now they lost by a field goal. Books got to keep it all. When it comes for bad for the books, a handful certainly stand out. Not a sold bet on Arkansas State. Not pros, not Joes. Of course, they lost 73-0 to Oklahoma. Oklahoma, not a good result for the house. Not a sold bet Boston College's favorites. Not pros, not Joes. Northern Illinois beat them outright. Fresno plus 6.5 to plus 3.5. They beat Purdue outright in West Lafayette. And the books that cater to Joes got beat up on Colorado. Pretty good. Colorado money line, Colorado plus the points. That was the popular public play of all the games on Saturday. The books that cater to pros cleaned up on that game because the pros were the ones laying minus 21 with TCU. There you have it. Bad beats, bad bets, bad for the books. Back to you, Mr. Lawrence.
Teddy covers. Before we bring Marco D'Angelo in, I want to let everybody know it is $9 Mondays over at WagerTalk. Any handicapper, all their plays, only $9. There's some NFL plays up for week 1 that are only $9. Teddy, I have a bet on the Clemson Duke game for my clients. It's only $9. I went 3-1 this weekend in college football. My only loss was South Alabama, and it was a wrong side, flat out. I had that Georgia Tech game. I had Georgia Tech on Friday night, and I was at a party. I have an unbelievably wealthy friend. He's in his 50s. He's dating a woman in her 30s, as unbelievably wealthy men do. And we get to the party, Vivian and I felt like I was at a Victoria's Secret Russian mail order bride party. I was with my woman, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, we got to get out of here. This is a marriage killer. This is not going to go well. We need to leave now. We left 2 hours later, but I watched Georgia Tech screw up, and I had anger. And then they fixed it at the end. We won. So I have a college football bet for tonight. It's only $9. I had a killer season last year and a 3-1 weekend. So grab that play. What were you about to say, my brother?
I was going to say, had Georgia Tech not come through the back door in that final score, they would have been on the bad beats list as well. That was a crazy final and a stress and a half if you had the Yellow Jackets.
Yeah. So, wedding killer party, that's for sure. Marco D'Angelo joining us. Marco, we normally have you up first, but we want to, you're loquacious, and we want you to have more time. So we stick you in the middle now. I hope that's okay, dude. I hope that's okay.
That's all right. Wherever you need me, Prez, we're just happy to be in your world.
You're damn straight you are, brother. Okay, let's get into it, man. San Francisco playing the Cubs tonight. Chicago minus 132. Really important game here. And San Fran needs to start putting some wins on the board. How are we betting this one?
What they need to start doing is putting some runs on the board. That's been the problem for the Giants. 4 of their last 5 games, they've scored 3 runs or less. And in fact, you look at that run there, they're just not scoring runs at all. This is a team that has a total of 5 runs, I think, in 4 of those 5 games total. But what I'm looking at, starting with obviously the fact that they're struggling, but this is a horrible scheduling spot for them. They played yesterday, and we talk about the travel situation and that a lot. But when you play on the West Coast and now you're traveling on the road on a Monday, you're changing time zones. It's bad enough doing that and playing a night game. They're playing a day game in Chicago because of the holiday. So it makes it even tougher for them. And we look at the Cubs. The Cubs, this is a team that's been streaky. They're back winning some ball games now. Over the weekend, they did lose 2 out of 3 to Cincinnati, but they won the final game. And prior to that, they had won 3 in a row. They put up 15 runs on the board yesterday. What I'm looking at in this one is the 2 starting pitchers. Logan Webb, although he has been good in the past for the Giants, he struggled on the road this year. He's always been a better pitcher at home, but on the road this year, his ERA is close to 5. That's going to be bad considering they're not scoring a lot of runs. He's not stopping a lot of people. And then we look at who's on the mound for the Cubs. And Justin Steele has been the epitome of consistency for Chicago. I'm looking at him, 11 of his last 13 starts, 3 runs or less. In his last 3 starts, 6 in 6 innings. He's given up only 4 runs total in those 18 innings, and he's had a strikeout to walk ratio of 21-3. I can't step in front of him the way the Giants are hitting. I'm going to go ahead and take the Cubs. And here's a little stat. When Steele's been on the mound this year for the Cubs, they're 18-7. Let's go ahead and take our first play today, the Chicago Cubs.
The Cubs as short home chalk in MLB action today against San Francisco. Wind blowing out at least a little bit at Wrigley. Let's talk a little college football on the team that everybody was talking about this past weekend, the Colorado Buffaloes, winning outright as 3 touchdown underdogs. The offense clicking on all cylinders. They found a way to win while Nebraska did what they do. Doesn't matter the coach, doesn't matter the year. Nebraska continues to find ways to, what are they, something like 28 losses by 1 score in the last 5 years. It's insane. Are they going to lose another one by less than a touchdown here right now? And this is a line that had a lot of variance at the opener. Books, between one book and another, there was a lot of debate as to where this line should be. Look at the WagerTalk Live odds screen. The line has settled now. We're seeing Colorado -3, total 58.5 at home in Boulder. What do you do with the Buffs and the Huskers?
Well, Teddy, first thing I'm going to say it this Monday. And when you have me on next Monday, I'm going to say the same thing for week 2 of the NFL.
Yeah.
Do not overreact to what you see that first week. And there is no team that looked better because, they looked super on offense. They got trashed on defense. I mean, TCU went up and down the field as well in that game. 2 turnovers was the difference in the game. If you remember, TCU had a big drive going late, and they threw the interception in the end zone. So there is 7 points off the board. But, yeah, Colorado, could they look any better on offense? And we heard all the hype all summer long, Deion Sanders with the transfer portal, how many people he had coming there. It was the most that we've seen. It was the number 1 ranked recruiting class with all of those transfers. And as you said, Teddy, the Sharps were on TCU. The Joes were on Colorado. And the collective thinking in that was you're putting all those people together, new players. It's going to take time to gel. Well, it did gel for them on offense. But let's remember, they had all summer to prepare for one opponent. That one opponent was TCU. Remember, TCU lost their, everything last year, quarterback Max Duggan. So it was a step down offensively for them, but they still moved the football well. But I got to ask, where was the TCU defense? It got shredded. I'm looking at Nebraska here, and yes, they did the same old thing. 4 turnovers did them in. They should have won that football game. But I did take some positives out of that game. They struggled at the quarterback position, 3 interceptions, but the defense played well. They held a Minnesota offense to 259 yards. And Nebraska, as bad as the quarterback played with the 3 interceptions, they had a very balanced attack. They went for, I think, like 259 through the air and 229 on the ground. I love that balanced attack, and I look for it to be the difference in this game against that Colorado defense. The best defense is a good offense, and I think Nebraska can stay on the field for long periods of time. And I'm going to put out the old fat and sassy alert on Colorado. You're getting, I think, value with Nebraska. And the final indicator that I always do in college football especially, you give me the better defense getting points. That's where I'm going to be. I'm going to fade the overreaction. And if you heard Deion Sanders, and I know you're a guy who loves to listen to quotes, he was pretty cocky after the game last week. I'm going to go ahead and take the points with Nebraska.
Teddy, before your follow-up question, I just want to point out, if anybody knows fat and sassy, it's Marco D'Angelo. Teddy.
I lost my follow-up question right there. Geez Louise. Okay, Nebraska college. So Sims, I wanted to ask you about Jeff Sims. All right. Because here's the guy who was basically bad for 3 years at Georgia Tech, and he gets to Nebraska, and I mean, he cost him the game. Jeff Sims was awful in that contest. 3 sacks, 3 interceptions, couldn't throw the ball downfield. He looked exactly like the same crappy quarterback we saw for 3 years at Georgia Tech. So you say you like the better defense. Isn't this a quarterback mismatch? And what do you do with the QB that comes in with hype like Sims, and you watch him play, you're like, this guy's just as bad as he used to be?
He is, Teddy, but I'm going to give him a pass for in horse racing, I use the term, your horse needs a start off, a layoff. I'm going to give him, he needs a start off of the new system. He's coming into a new head coach regime. Let's see. If he has another bad game this week, especially as bad as the Colorado defense was last week, then your concerns are there and they're warranted. And then they go on my watch list of be very careful with Sims at quarterback. But I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt this week. I think with the game under his belt, he will improve.
Marco D'Angelo, everyone. Listening to Deion in the post-game interview, that guy hasn't aged. I think he's still wearing the same 17 necklaces, those gold shades. He was. It's just awesome. The dude has not aged one bit. Marco, you are rolling in frickin' everything you're doing right now. You got a great promo for us. Give it out, and then we're going to get to Teddy's big game breakdown.
All right, guys, I've been very conservative so far in the football season. Only 7 plays. We're 6-1, but that changes now that we're here with the NFL, and next week will be week 2 in college football. Today is the last day. You got till midnight. You can get my entire football season, college and pro, through the Super Bowl instead of $8.99 for just $777. That's $35 a week. It comes out to use promo code FB777 at checkout. Get that before midnight, guys. Jump on board and let's cash some tickets this season.
Marco D'Angelo, everyone, you can find him at WagerTalk.com, not only an exclusive handicapper with us, but also one of the co-founders of this incredible company. Teddy Covers, it's time for your big game breakdown.
Let's do it. Big game breakdown time. Let's talk. And I felt like I had to talk about this game. Michigan's my alma mater. I've lived in Las Vegas for 25 years. And what do we have? Michigan and UNLV on Saturday in college football. 12:30 Pacific, 3:30 Eastern time. Look at the WagerTalk live odds screen. Let's call Michigan minus 36, total of 58. You can find 35.5. You can find 36.5. The prevailing number is 36 for the Wolverines. So this is a game I had to talk about. And look, Michigan returned more than 80% of their offensive production from last year. Top 5 in the country in terms of returning production for the Wolverines. And they had it pretty easy against East Carolina. Now 30-3 win. The defense dominated. They're hitting 50-yard field goals. They said they were going to pass the ball this year, and McCarthy wasn't shy about throwing the football around. He completed 26 of 30 passes, which is pretty good. Perfect balance, 31 passes, 31 rushes for the Wolverines. But second half of that ball game, there was no urgency for Michigan. They took the lead. They scored coming out of halftime to go up 30-3. And the final 3 drives, stopped on downs, punt, and they turned it over at the end. The game was won based on the Wolverines' defense. Their defense was dominant. They held ECU, 27 pass attempts for 132 yards, and half of them came in the fourth quarter against backups. Michigan, I call them living up to the hype, even though they didn't cover the point spread. Now, UNLV in the Barry Odom era, started out real good. They beat up on Bryant this past Saturday. And they were able to have a balanced offense a little bit. They ran the football. The passing game, look, Doug Brumfield is not a downfield thrower. I do not anticipate UNLV's passing game to work at all against Michigan. He's going to have to run the football against the Wolverines. I don't see that happening either in Ann Arbor. So this is the type of ball game. And let's not forget, the Rebels gave up 409 yards to Bryant. Just 14 points in that ball game. They were able to get stops when they needed to. But this is not a shutdown defense. This is not an offense that I expect to move the football. So what do? Maybe we look at UNLV team total under. Maybe we look at Michigan first half, knowing that the Wolverines don't necessarily put the pedal to the metal for the full game. But that's the 2 wagers I would look at for this one. UNLV team total under and Michigan first half. I'm not expecting the Rebels to hang around here for very long. There's your big game breakdown. Back to you, Mr. Prez.
Teddy covers, 334 people watching, 66 likes. If you guys like this type of content, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel, because we have got a lineup of shows that are unbelievable. Bet on It is doing phenomenal. Teddy's opening line report that starts at 1 p.m. Eastern today is maybe one of the best shows you'll ever hear in the sports betting industry. It's unique, it's creative, it's incredibly informative. And Drew and Teddy have an amazing chemistry, better than me and Teddy, for sure. So make sure to check that out. As well, the NFL presidential address is back this week. We are taping tomorrow. It will come in 3 parts. Last year, we were doing a full 40-minute show, top to bottom. This year, we're going to break it down into 3 8-minute shows. So check that out. That'll be on tomorrow as well. And, of course, if you want to hear the daily presidential address, well, we need to get to 100 likes. Teddy, I watched the Swamp Thing, Untold, Florida Gators Swamp Thing, 4 episodes. Netflix. It was unbelievable. It was watching Urban Meyer basically run a Navy SEALs training camp for these kids. It was incredible. And Tim Tebow, just an impressive human being. I highly, highly recommend you guys check that out. Carmine Bianco, everyone. Oh, wait. I screwed that up. I'm all excited here. Betting strategy time with Teddy and the Prez. Dan, put that question up. So with sports books promoting boosted and super boosted odds, I find some are too enticing to pass up. Yes, many are parlays, but it seems like with boosts so great, sometimes you have to do it blind when you see it, and you'll be better for it average-wise. Thoughts, example, etc. Gold Glove 42 asked that question, and the reason I wanted to just, that matches my shirt really well. The reason I wanted to discuss this is because we are in a golden age right now for sports bettors. There are so many different sports books. They are all fighting tooth and nail for your business. And they are providing you guys with incredible promotion opportunities, boosts on your bets. And my advice to you guys is take them all. Sign up for every single one of them and take advantage of every single promo that you can get. If it forces you to do a 16-team parlay, do it. This is the Wild West of customer acquisition for the sports books. It is not going to happen forever. It didn't happen before. This is the best time to be a sports bettor in history. Take advantage of all those promos. Teddy?
So, yes, you do want to take advantage of all those promos. I agree with that assessment 100%. But when you start talking about, oh, well, these are making bets that you weren't planning on making bets on games or props that you don't have strong opinions on, to me, that's where you tap the brakes a little bit. Yes, you want to take advantage of every opportunity. And yes, if you want to take advantage of these boosts, you should be doing it. There are positive expectation opportunities with the boosts, but never forget, much as it is a Wild West in terms of customer acquisition, books ain't never giving money away. Never, ever, ever. So take it with a grain of salt. If you're going to bet the boosts, do it lightly, especially on games you don't have opinions on. My whole strategy and philosophy comes in as a handicapper. These are games we can break down. These are games we have an opinion on. These are games we have an edges on. The boost doesn't give you that. So it's not my natural fit.
Right.
I understand that. That said, when you have a positive expectation opportunity, you take advantage of it. But we don't want to be blowing our whole bankroll on boosts on games that we don't know about. So take it with a grain of salt. Don't bet big in these situations. That's my 2 cents.
And Teddy, just to end the segment, there's a real great sort of end result. If you go and you sign up for 10 sports books to take advantage of all their promos, what are you left with? 10 outs. And that is a great thing. Carmine Bianco joining us. And Carm, how many old people were at the Guns N' Roses concert last night?
I felt like I was the youngest at 55. It was quite the concert. Got there early. I watched some of the Pretenders. Brian Leonard, big fan of the Pretenders and their lead singer.
The Pretenders opened? Like Chrissy Hyde?
Yeah, Pretenders.
Oh,
yeah.
I'd rather see
She's
them.
71. She is 71.
They're an amazing band. I haven't even heard that name in ages. That's a good ticket.
They're very good, but as I said to you guys, Guns N' Roses went for 3.5 hours, 2 hours in. I was like, all right, guys, come on, let's wrap this thing up. I was so tired. I was downtown Toronto. I needed to get home. I knew the traffic in Toronto is an absolute disaster with the fireworks show going on downtown and such. It was just a disaster. And these guys went for like another 90 minutes. He literally said, we cannot play encores. They told us not to do an encore, so we're just going to play some songs. And he proceeded to play another 45 minutes of songs. And it was a 3.5 hour concert.
Well, I saw Guns N' Roses twice in the last, 10 years, and I thought both times were exceptional. Slash is just a monster. If they're coming through your town, I do suggest checking them out. And if the Pretenders are opening for them, that's a great ticket. Carmine, NFL, we're right. It's right in front of us. You got the memo. You're coming on talking only NFL. We got a teaser to give out, a Wong teaser. Tell us who the two teams are and how you. It's not a Wong teaser because it's 6.5 points. Yep. Sorry, Teddy. Yeah. It's a Wang teaser. So wang us with your thoughts.
Yeah, teasers were very profitable for me last year at WagerTalk. I ended the season on a 19-1-1 run with teasers, so that's pretty good. Doesn't matter how you're playing them, you're making money if you're going 19-1-1. And this one, obviously, a week one. Last year I took the approach not only with NFL at WagerTalk, but also in the circa millions of. I looked at dogs in week one. I thought there was quite a few games in week one where the dogs could not only cover the spread but win the game outright, and it worked out perfectly fine for me. I went 5-0 in the contest, 4-0 with dogs who ended up winning outright. And I look at this week, and there's a couple games, and you look at the first one, which is San Fran and Pittsburgh, and I'm not saying it's a rinse and repeat kind of thing with San Fran. Or with the dogs in week one, but you look at San Francisco, and this team is going to be good at some point, but they might not be good out of the gates. Last year they went 4-4 before their bye week. They lost their first game in Chicago, which was bad weather, so you have to toss that into it. But you have a quarterback coming off elbow surgery. You have Nick Bosa, who hasn't even signed a contract yet. He's holding out, but there's speculation that he's going to sign this week. And he could be in the lineup. But from everything that's being said by Shanahan, is if he is available, he's going to be on snap count. He'll likely be in passing only situations. And you have Pittsburgh. They were disastrous. They started off 2-6 and ended up with another winning season under Mike Tomlin with a good second half. But they win their first game of the year last year against Cincinnati in Cincinnati. And they've got a very good defense. I just think that at 2.5, would I touch it? Probably not. But you add 6.5 points to it, and you're getting +9 at home with Pittsburgh. I like that first half of the parlay. Second one is a game I think wins outright. I think Miami is the better team in their game. They're getting 3 points from San Diego. I think they're number one. You look at this team, and last year, the whole thing with Tua, they got off to a great start. Tua gets injured against Buffalo. They put him in against Cincinnati, which was a bad mistake. They thought it was his back, and the whole concussion protocol thing started in the NFL with players. He missed a couple games. They get blown out. I think they lose both games. But when he came back, he put together 5 wins for this team before they went into a road-heavy schedule. They went to San Fran, then Green Bay, and then Buffalo back-to-back weeks. Lost all 3 games, and the defense just got gassed at the end of the season. But they're healthy this year. I think they've got a very good defense, and they're a threat to win the East. I'm a Bills Mafia guy, and I think Miami has a good chance of winning that division. If this team's healthy, I like them to go far. And I just don't trust this San Diego team right now. I know the win total's at about 9.5. I think they're a better coach team under Mike McDaniels. And you look at Staley. I think Staley's lame duck this year. I think if he doesn't have a good season and he doesn't go far in the playoffs, that he's gone at the end of the season. Yeah. So you're giving me Miami at +9.5 by adding 6.5 points. I'm taking that as well too. So Pittsburgh +9, Miami +9.5 as your teaser.
Yeah, Teddy's going to follow up for you. Okay, Teddy, good to follow your slack. No, go ahead. Okay.
Yeah, no,
Please. Whatever. Love, lots of love. Carm, I just want to listen. The Pittsburgh pick makes a lot of sense. I want to point out to everybody last year, however great the coaching is, Mike Shanahan, unbelievable coach. This team was not prepared for game 1 last year. They went into Chicago, lost 19-10. As for Miami, I'm totally on the opposite side. And if you want to hear all my reasons why, check out the the NFL presidential address tomorrow. Do love the teaser, Carm. Teddy, go ahead.
Carm, you're going to have to explain this one to me because I don't understand 6.5 points here. Why wouldn't you just take a 6-point teaser instead of laying the extra juice for points that you don't want and don't need?
It's more about getting the Pittsburgh game to 9. I get it. There's certain numbers, Teddy, that and you can look at the juice. Certain numbers that are you can almost consider dead. People used to think 5 was a dead number. I don't think 5 is a dead number anymore. I think it was more about getting these teams over that key number of 7 and sometimes 8 as well too. I have
but you'll get them over 8 with a 6-point.
I have no opposition. I have no opposition to going to a 6-pointer.
Carm, you'll get them both over 8 if you give a 6-point teaser. So that doesn't make any sense.
I was getting to that. I was getting to that, Teddy. I have no opposition.
He wants to get to 9, Teddy. He likes 9. Okay?
No.
But what I'm saying is Teddy makes a valid point. Teddy makes a valid point. You can save some
a right point, not a valid point. A right point.
That you can save. You can save some vig, and that's one of the things is when you guys talked about outs and having numerous outs is you got to check your what books you have and what juice they're charging. Everyone is charging different prices on these teasers, going from 6 to 6.5 and going to 7. I know in Vegas it's all over the place as well too. So you've got to find the right book to play these teasers because, as Teddy says, of dropping it from 6.5 to 6, and you're still getting two very good numbers, is the juice you save long term in playing these just adds to your profitability long term. It's a big thing for your in bankroll management point of view. So I get it, Teddy. I get it. I like the 9, but I do get it.
Yeah. Carmine, you got a killer promo up for everybody. A regular price, $1,149. It's only $649. Before we get into the Atlanta Falcons win-loss, which we'll talk about in 2 seconds, tell us about this promo.
Yeah, so finished number 1 in hockey last season. NHL is right around the corner. Soccer, very good weekend this past weekend, including a very easy Premier League 5% winner. Every single play for the rest of the soccer season or 2023 and the first half of the NHL season, which will take you to the end of 2023. I'm going to take it one step further, Lawrence and Teddy. If you purchase this package, email customer service, and we're going to turn this into an all access. You'll get every single play I released in every sport, including NFL, any college, anything else that I release. You're going to get it all at that same price. So we're going to flip this into an all access package, and you get everything for $649, which is a great deal.
There we go. Carmine Bianco, everyone. Working promos live in front of your face. The Atlanta Falcons. This whole division fascinates me. Their win-loss is 8.5 on the season. Which way are you going?
I'm going over here, Lawrence. You know, they went 7-10 last season, I think, in that division. And you look at their schedule. It's a very home-friendly schedule to start. You know, they play 5 of their first 6 games at home. Carolina week 1, then Green Bay before they go off to Detroit, and then they got Jacksonville, Houston, and Washington. And in all honesty, I think I can see at least 4 wins on that home schedule at the very least for this team. You look at look at that first game against Carolina this weekend, and you've got Bryce Young coming in with Carolina. Road quarterbacks haven't fared. Rookie quarterbacks on the road have not fared well. I think the number is 41 since 2013. Rookie quarterbacks are 21, 120, and 25.5% straight up on the road. You can look at Desmond Riddler as a rookie, maybe, but he started the last 4 games of last season for this Atlanta team, so they were getting them ready for this game. They've got Tennessee, Arizona. They get New Orleans off a bye week. There's a lot of favorable spots in their schedule, but I think the first 5 or 6 weeks tells us whether we're cashing this bet or whether we're ripping a ticket. Because, like I said, if they don't start off well in their first 5 or 6 games of this season, if they're not at least 4-2 heading into week 7, which is week 7 takes them at Tampa Bay, they could be in trouble. But if you look at it, and Teddy knows this, the Superbook puts out every spread on every game for the whole season, and I get it; those will change based on week to week and injuries and such. But this is a team that isn't favored by more than 3.5 points in any game, but isn't a dog of more than 7 points in every game, in any game. And 13 of their 17 games for Atlanta this year right now are lined at anywhere from +3 to -3. So there is there are a lot of pick'em situations with this team right now, and if they can get off to a good start, I think they go over this win total of 8.5.
Awesome. Carmine Bianco, everyone. What a show, guys. We got 1 minute left. It's time for the daily presidential address. There's no music. Anyway, it's your daily presidential address. I've got 2 baseball bets to give out to you guys today. Both I am personally betting. I do want to make mention it is $9 Mondays. I'm on a 3-1 and 19-8 college football run, and I have your bet tonight on the Duke Clemson game. It's only $9. I also have my side and total up in NFL for Thursday. It's $9 as well. As for your bets, I like the Jays tonight, -1.5. I have a projected score of 7-4 for the Jays. So I do lean on the over, but I think the Jays are going to blow this team out tonight. And as far as the San Fran Cubs game, Marco mentioned on the show today that he likes the Cubs. I prefer the under 9 in this spot. That's the show. Teddy, we got a great week lined up. Your opening line report in 15 minutes. Take us home, my brother.
Sure. That's going to wrap it for the Labor Day edition of Wager Talk Today. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to hang out with us here on Wager Talk TV. And stay tuned, as Lauren said, for the opening line report. Myself and Joe Ranieri today, top of the hour, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. for you Eastern, live right here on Wager Talk TV. Lawrence and I will be back again tomorrow for Wager Talk Today. Same time, same channel, 9 a.m. on the left coast, noon for you back east.
Gianni's joining us tomorrow.
That'll be fun. Between now and tomorrow's show with Johnny Detroit, enjoy the games and best of luck with all your wagers.